lot of homeowners and business owners are really concerned about the amount of insects they're finding in their homes right now.
Yeah, it's not that you're being infested with anything new or anything. In fact, it's that everybody's trying to leave. These are overwintering pests that are trying to get out of your house. They got in the fall. They were using your house as a nice Floridian type getaway from the cold of Nebraska, but now they want back out in nature so they can feed and they can mate.
So we probably didn't notice that they were coming in the fall, but we've got 5 overwintering pests that we commonly see right now coming out of the woodwork, it seems. They're coming out of like light fixtures and windows, getting caught where it's sunny.
One that's becoming of increasing importance here in Nebraska has been the brown marmorated stink bug. It gets its name because it's brown, and marmorated is kind of a fancy way of talking about it being spotted. So it looks a lot like our native stink bugs, except it has stripes on its antenna and kind of a gray belly. It's a pest in gardens, feeds on peppers and corn and tomatoes, lots of other crops. And in the fall, it likes to get into the house and use your home as sort of a heated tree to avoid those winter temperatures. But once inside, they're not going to feed, they're not going to mate. They're just waiting out under the siding, in the attic, in the soffit, trying to wait out those cold temperatures. What about some other ones besides the brown marmorated?
Well, one that's in the same order as the brown marmorated is the Boxelder bug. And a lot of people are familiar with that because they've been overwintering pests for a long time. They're all commonly found around boxelder trees or maple trees. Another one is the cluster fly. People get alarmed because they see a lot of them because they cluster together, but it's not an indication that there's something decaying. It is a parasitoid of earthworms. So they're also one of those. And then there's the western conifer seed bug. They're commonly found around pine trees, and they don't usually do any damage to the pine tree, but they are overwintering pests, so you may see some of those as well.
I think that's a really good point. When these things get into the house, they're trying to wait out the winter. They don't want to mate, they don't want to feed on anything. And that's important, especially for this last one, the multicolored Asian lady beetle, another common one that gets into the house. So the multicolored Asian lady beetle is a pretty interesting example of this kind of pest because in the summer, we like it. It's a good biocontrol agent. It eats a lot of different aphids that are in the landscape, but it does get into the house in the fall. It can taint wine. It can get into your house and bite you. It can stain things with its reflexive bleeding. And so you definitely want to try and keep that one out. It's not mating or feeding inside, but it does cause some issues.
Some of the things that you can do in the fall are seal and caulk some of the cracks and gaps around your home and siding. You want to make sure you've got intact windows and screens and seal up some gaps under doors. People always want to know though about insecticides because they're all about spraying when they see a lot of bugs. What are your thoughts about that?
Insecticides can be tough with these kinds of pests because you're trying to create a barrier between them and the inside of the property. And if you put it out too early, the barrier fades and they're going to get in. If you put it out too late, they're already inside and the barrier no longer works. So you got to be very observant. If you've had this problem in the past with any of these pests, keep a close eye out for when they're crawling on the outside. That's a good time to start doing your perimeter spraying. You can also just simply use some soapy water. You'll get the same effect if you see a big group of these insects all hanging out together. So definitely don't panic right now. Get them outside. Don't worry about them after that. Take those pest proofing steps over the summer and you won't have to worry about this happening again next year.